You'll be glad you did. 420 Radio, fighting prohibition since 2012.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
The Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation. Now, here's your host, Radical Russ Belville.
Well, on the earth, take a little seed, put it in the ground, it'll come back to me.
Good day, tokers and tokettes and non-token lovers of liberty. Radical Russ here at the Alaska Northwest Cannabis Classic. The doors have just opened here at the Dina Center. Probably pronouncing that wrong, but we hope not. 2 days of presentations and exposition here at this wonderful convention center. The sun is shining. It's about 55, 60 degrees out here in Anchorage, and the people are lined up ready to get in. We've already run into Jorge Cervantes. He'll be here doing a cultivation seminar for the VIPs in attendance. And in less than 1 hour, I'll be doing my presentation on marijuana and civil rights. So if you're not here in Alaska, we will bring you as much of the coverage as we can. We'll be bringing you interviews with the vendors and video as well on the Radical Russ YouTube channel. Also catch the interviews on our SoundCloud channel, soundcloud.com/radicalruss. All right, let's make our way into the event center.
420 Radio is brought to you by Sacred Serum, who is focused on creating elegant and sophisticated cannabis solutions through its line of dispensers and vaporizers that come preloaded with the world's finest cannabis concentrate. Sacred Serum's concentrate is made on pharmaceutical-grade supercritical CO2 extraction machines that use absolutely no butane or other toxic chemicals. The Vesica, the company's innovative new way to dab and frost, is now available in dispensaries across California. Sacred Serum, elegance and sophistication concentrated.
Oregon has joined Washington and Colorado in legalizing marijuana. We're Portland NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws chapter in Portland, Oregon. Join us as we celebrate the launch of an exciting new era in marijuana freedom in Oregon. Our job has just begun. Powerful interests want to white out the most important portions of Oregon's legalization law. By joining Portland NORML, you add your voice to the thousands who voted for Measure 91 and want it to be implemented as written. The people have spoken. Now it is time for the legislature to obey the will of the people. Find out more about Portland NORML at portlandnormal.org. Attend our monthly membership meetings on the fourth Saturday of the month. See our website for more details. Portland NORML, ensuring responsible adult marijuana consumers are afforded the same rights, privileges, and responsibilities as beer drinkers.
All right, Radical Russ here back at the Northwest Cannabis Classic in Anchorage, Alaska, and I saw this poster that said, Alaska Trim for Vets, and you know I'm always a big supporter of our nation's veterans, so tell folks your name and what is Alaska Trim for Vets?
My name is Randy Larson. Alaska Trim for Vets is a program where I accept donations, financial, trim, bud, and then I take that product and I extract it and I turn it into medicinal marijuana, and then I have veterans that join the program. I have a website, alaskatrimforvets.com, and then if they're on the website and they qualify, I hook up with them and I supply them with medicinal marijuana for free. I donate it.
Wow, that is amazing, and it's the kind of spirit that we really appreciate in the medical marijuana field. How long have you been doing this?
I've just started doing it in the last 6 months or so. I've been a disabled veteran for 30 years, and it's just kind of my way of giving back.
That is fantastic. The website, Alaska Trim for Vets, that's AK Trim, the number 4, Vets, and is it a .com?
Yeah, .com.
Fantastic. Now, with the changes that are going on here in Alaska, you know, just having legalized recreational, is that changing anything about how you're having to go and do your stuff?
No, it's just everybody's out in the open now. Everybody was so closed door before, in their own house, nobody talking, nobody getting together around tables, you know, none of that. Now everybody's open, everybody's talking. It makes everything a lot easier. Yeah. So it actually helps with the program.
I know there's been difficulty for veterans accessing, just getting their medical cannabis recommendation when they have when they're only with a VA doctor, and there's been a lot of work on trying to get the VA to recognize these things. Are you involved with some of those political aspects?
I'm just out there trying to get the word out. What I'm doing is helping. There's a lot of veterans that see what I'm doing, and they're getting more active in the program. And unfortunately, the bill just failed a couple days ago, I think by a couple of votes.
Yeah, 3 votes, I think.
But in states where it's legal, we can still be treated by our veterans, our doctors, as long as we get another doctor separate, private, to give us our medical cannabis license. So we can still get treated, we can still get our prescriptions. They still have to work with us, even though we're smoking marijuana.
I'm glad you're doing this. Alaska Trim for Vets, AKTrim4vets.com, Alaskan grown, and doing this altruistically to help the people who really need the help. I appreciate you.
Yes, I'm doing this out of my house, out of my disability, you know. So
good luck. Good luck to you, man. Thanks for the interview.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The Fingerboard Extension has fretted instruments to enhance your creativity. It has new and used guitars and banjos from beginning to high class. The Fingerboard Extension has National Resophonic, Husson Dalton, Larrabee, Heritage and Recording King guitars, and Mike Ramsey, Wildwood, Gold Tone, and Recording King banjos. The Fingerboard Extension also has drum stuff, used gear, and parts. Stop by the Fingerboard Extension, downtown Corvallis, Oregon at 120 Northwest 2nd, or check out the inventory on the web at fingerboardextension.com and reverb.com. Support for 420 Radio comes from Kick-Ass Cannabis and Veggies, a guide to gardening with nature, authored by Kip Zonderkopf. Based on the ethos that a living soil is the foundation of a thriving garden, Kick-Ass Cannabis and Veggies is your guide to naturally growing resinous buds and nutrient-rich veggies. Get the ebook now with instant download at kickassorganics.com. Previews available on Amazon, iTunes, Nook, Google Play, Kobo, and many other
All right,
online
so I'm
retailers.
walking by at the Northwest Cannabis Classic, and some ladies passed out some flyers that had 420s on them. So that means I have to stop and talk. So what is your name?
I'm Joe. I'm actually one of the servers, waitresses for potluck events. We're here to encourage a place instead of people just going to the bars to go drink. We're actually the vice versa. We're the ones bring your own bud, BYOB. And it's all about sharing is caring. We're not a dispensary. We do not sell. We do not buy. Sharing is the purpose of what we do. And we walk around. We even, as the servers, we have pot boxes and edibles that we pass out to our club members. You do have to be a private club member to be a part of our thing inside a membership because we are a private club. So we want to make sure the discretion's still there and make sure that everybody's having a positive experience. And since I've been there since day one when we opened, it has been an awesome experience. I make sure that I even have the time to have this as my extra job.
So this is 420 West 3rd Avenue in Anchorage, adult use venue, BYOB. You don't
be 21.
Got to be 21, and you don't have to be a medical patient?
No, you do not. You just need to be a member with our club to make sure that we can follow all the rules and guidelines. So.
Now, are you doing anything after the show here? Can people come by this weekend?
We are actually just doing a thing for the VIP members for the NW Cannabis Classic. We want to make sure that we can show them a service that they get to see on the sidelines without a bunch of our club members of the everyday. We're going to make this event a little bit more special for them to kind of really see what we're about. So
that's awesome. I imagine I'll be heading out there after the show then.
So from 8 to 12 tonight. So.
All right, 8 to 12 tonight. I will be there. It was nice talking to you.
11, so
it'll be 8 until we leave.
It's a long day for me, so.
All right, thank you so much, and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Have a good one.
My name is Angel Christine, and the name of the organization is Alaska Green Angels.
Okay, so for Alaska Green Angels, what is the qualification for someone to use your services, to be involved here?
So right now it's pretty much open to everybody. We don't have any requirements to donate. You know, if you want to donate your product, all we ask is that it's medical grade and that it is organic. We're trying to keep a standard of quality. Sure. But most of our patients that we donate to are disabled veterans or senior citizens or people that have just been released from the hospital for various reasons that need help and can't get it.
Oh, so if someone just got a cancer diagnosis and they're going to go through chemo, you're the ones they should turn to.
Absolutely, yes. We will definitely do our best to help anyone and everyone.
Wow, what's the contact info for people that want to get in touch with you?
Right now, the best way to get a hold of us is our Alaska Green Angels Facebook page.
Okay, Alaska Green Angels. Thanks so much. This is wonderful work you're doing. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Are you tired of storing your herb in back alley baggies? Then keep your herb fresh and protected with Pottles. Pottles are airtight and odor-free. Not to mention they're reusable, BPA-free, and UV-resistant. Pottles come in a variety of sizes, styles, and colors, so go check out Pottles at mypottles.com. Use the code STASH to get an additional 10% off. Again, that's mypottles.com, mypottles.com, and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Growing plants indoors can be a rewarding hobby, but electricity bills can go through the roof. Then you have to cool down all those big hot lights. It can drive a grower insane. With Lush LED lighting, you can solve many of these issues and double your rewards. Matt and his scientists have developed the perfect light for flowering plants with far less cost and heat. And the results? Very effective. Check out lushledlighting.com right now and tell them Radical Russ sent you.
Good day, tokers and tokettes. Radical Russ here at the Denina Center, I'm told, in Anchorage, Alaska, where you can see the huge line of people waiting to get in here to the Northwest Cannabis Classic. We've got some vendor booths outside the main area here, as well as a nice photo wall built up for everyone who might want to get their photo taken at the event. Let's take a look inside Northwest Cannabis Classic. This is the inaugural event. This is the first one of its kind in Alaska, so a lot of folks are really excited about this. As you can see, it's a very, very big area here. And many of the types of vendors you would expect to see at a lot of these events. Just kind of wander our way through. We've got greenhouses and lighting. This is the VIP area where Jorge Cervantes will be doing his presentation, among others. And we have some Mr. Nice Seed Bank is here. CO2 butane extraction devices as well. And as every event should have, a air hockey table. This is the pro air hockey at that. Somebody's winning. Somebody's winning. All right. We got the main stage over here. Our friends from BioTrack are here. How you guys doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, is it your first time in Alaska?
It is my first time in Alaska, actually, and I'm having a great time. It's beautiful here. Everybody seems really, really into the industry so far.
All right, we'll be back and talk a little bit more about BioTrack. I got a presentation at 1, so I just getting some footage. All right, let's see what we got over here. I do believe that's marijuana right there. Looky there, folks. Good old-fashioned American cannabis. Nice to see it. He's got display glass here. Got some Chem Dog. 22% THC, looking good. And accessories. There's always plenty of accessories to be had at one of these events. Here we're looking at one of the glass tables. Got some nails as well. And let's see if I can talk to this gentleman here, see what he's got going on. All right, we continue looking around. Cannabis shops are well represented. They've got some nice couch areas. How you guys doing? Good. See you guys.
448?
I'm out of Portland, Oregon, yes.
Nice. Welcome to Alaska.
Thank you.
Kush Gardens, Alaska.
Tell them all about it.
Kush Gardens. We'll be getting our license in a year.
Yeah.
Going to keep our heads low and play by the rules, jump through the hoops, get our license, and we are going to be specializing in clones.
Oh, very good. That's one of the things is now everybody has this right to grow, but nobody thinks very much about where am I going to get my first seed from.
What we're wanting to do is have it set up to where you're allowed your 3 plants. Say your wife gave you one small closet out of the house, and that's all the space you're going to have. You can come visit us every 2 months, get all new clones, get them ready to bud, get a 2-foot tall plant if that's what you need. That's the size you want.
Yeah.
And ready to go.
I've been telling people that this whole idea of being able to take plants into like a real big vegetation mode and then just get them ready to flower, it's kind of like the Papa Murphy's take and bake of weed.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like you don't have to do all the cooking, just throw it in the damn oven.
That's what we're looking to do, but we're also wanting to do it on a scale to where we can supply commercial growers and increase their profits by a good 15%.
Man, that's awesome. So give people a website or a phone number or whatever they need to contact you.
It's right now, you just email. We're very low-key right now. It's kushgardensalaska@gmail.
kushgardensalaska@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Have a good show.
Alaska.
What's that?
Welcome to Alaska.
Well, thank you very much. So moving around more in the event here, I like these guys have DB Cooper LED grow lights. DB Cooper lights that they grow your plants and then they jump out the airplane and leave you. No, I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll talk to those guys soon. Here's guys selling some t-shirts and such. Good stuff going on here. Rounding the corner, we have lots of different stuff for sale here. Little pipes, little sacks, jet flame and such. All sorts of accessories available here. Even accessories of the adult variety. Keep this separate from the weed. The sticky icky and the lube do not go together. Do not go together. Not good. All right, and here we have, oh, this is interesting. What you got here? What are these things?
These things are climate controllers.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, this is a CO2 controllers. That's the actual reading of CO2 in here. So.
Very cool. You're Grow Zone?
Yeah, I'm Grow Zone.
Fantastic. Tell people about Grow Zone. How can they contact you?
Actually, you just have to. We have a website, www.growzonecontrol.com. We have a hotlines, 800 lines, and easy to reach.
Right on. Well, check it out, folks. All the electronics you need right there. Grow Zone. Thanks, guys. Printing and signage is available here. All sorts of different setups here. Looking around at all of the display. D-Zine Alaska, web design and social media. Looking good. Flextronics lighting solutions. Lots and lots of lighting and LED stuff going on here. Here we have some, oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Some people don't like me on camera. All right, so lots of lights going on here. And imagine, you know, Alaska, it must be kind of tough as far as outdoor growing would go. So it makes sense that we'd have these lights, these light demonstrations going on. The free seminars will be here. This is where I'll be delivering my marijuana civil rights seminar. So we will wait for that to happen. Make our way. Hi. Good, good. What do we got?
California. And yeah, we're just here checking it out.
We got some glass.
Yeah, these are jars we're giving out. We're giving out the jars to people, and yeah, we are doing an iPad giveaway while we're up here. And
if people want to get in touch with you on the web, how can they do it?
Hydrobuilder.com.
There it is, folks.
Right
Easy enough. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right. Lots of friendly people here at the Alaska Northwest Cannabis Classic. They'll be doing this also in Tacoma and in Portland, and I believe I'll be able to cover both of those events. So really excited to see more of these events happening, more people getting involved in affecting the cannabis industry. Head back here to the 420 radio desk. We'll take a break. I'm going to get ready for my presentation, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Hey everybody, it's Radical Russ here from 420 Radio, inviting you to be like me and get your ink done at Lucky Horseshoe Tattoo, Fort Worth's most female-friendly, clean, sterile, awesome tattoo shop. Thomas and his crew are true artists who can design you a custom piece or use a design you bring in. Lucky Horseshoe Tattoo also offers all styles of tattooing as well as piercings and all-around fun. In the DFW area, stop by Lucky Horseshoe Tattoo and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Trust me, it'll feel awesome. You know Herb Thrasher from the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, we've got frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs, we've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com. And follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter.
Radical Russ here at the Northwest Cannabis Classic in Anchorage, Alaska. We're stopping here with 907gamers.com, and for those of you in the know, 907 is the area code up here. So the 907 is everywhere I look. There's a lot of 907s. Tell folks your name.
I'm Ty Brooks, and I'm part of 907 Gamers community, and this is
Jessica Ritchie, same as well.
Jessica.
Bobby Burns.
Bobby, nice to meet y'all. So 907 Gamers, I got some awesome setups here. Big screens, people playing the best, I don't know, is it Grand Theft Auto going over there? I'm not sure what's going on, but some massive machines here. So I guess the number one question would be, this is a marijuana thing. What's the gaming community doing here?
The crossover speaks for itself. There you go. They were looking for some entertainment here, and really the crossover does speak for itself. You know, gamers and marijuana tend to go hand in hand in the older communities. We want to spread our brand out and expand our demographic to an older demographic, so here we are, you know. We were invited to come and we showed up.
That's fantastic. A great place for people to sit back and relax, lounge, play a little bit of video games, and you guys got the best ones going on here. So cannabis and games, I got to admit, like my gaming ended like when you stopped putting quarters in them. So I'm the guy you're trying to preach to. So what would, if I'm a noob, I'm a total noob, what should I sit down and try?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat? Should we Mortal Kombat each other? You want to try that? Okay, I'll probably get my ass whooped because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's not that hard? All right, we're going to Mortal Kombat here. We'll see how we can do. All right. So I got my controller here. Yep. There's a bunch of buttons on it.
Yep.
What do I need to know?
Okay, so basically we're going to match. You press the X button, which is the blue.
X.
Yep. We have to wait for it to download.
Which game is this, Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat, the new one.
Okay. Oh, is this the one where you can get the Jason pack for it, right?
It's not in this, though. Sorry.
I don't get to be Jason?
No, not today.
All right.
Sorry.
So what do I have to push to fight?
Okay. So basically, I just like push random buttons, and I always seem to do awesome.
Oh, there's a
But
kick.
You can press the options button.
Oh.
That is you. Those are all your moves. Those
I'm
are all
Quan Chi.
You are Quan Chi.
I've always wanted to be Quan Chi, you know, for at least the past 2 minutes.
Well, Quan Chi is actually a very good character.
Okay, so we're going to try this. While I hold the mic, we're going to try and fight. All right.
Okay, so those are all your moves. You probably won't memorize them, but
no, I have no idea.
Those are it. Okay. You're
right.
on the right. I'm on the left. Go.
Aha.
Oh, you hit me good.
Ooh. Ah, kick his ass. Kick his ass. Kick it. Ooh. Oops. Oops. Oops.
Woo.
I'm getting thrown around and beaten to a pulp here. Oh, there we go. We both hit each other pretty good, I think. Okay, I can jump down. I can crouch. I can go and kick. Oh, no. Up, and kick, and up, and kick. There we go. How come every time I kick you, this little guy keeps falling off you? What's up with that?
I've never played this character.
There's a little guy riding on your back, and I keep kicking you and knocking him.
Vicious Ferrator. That's who I am.
Ha-ha.
Oh, you got me.
Fight.
You did get me. Oh, you have a special. Want me to show you how to do it?
Sure. Ooh, trigger buttons.
Hold on.
Ooh.
It keeps going.
Oh, man, I put 2 green skulls against his head and kicked him into another dimension, apparently.
Yes, and then cracks your skull.
And cracked his... This is so...
Yeah.
I won!
And you won.
I won my first ever video game.
Yay.
That's as much as I can handle.
Okay.
That's too much violence.
That was fun.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so I'm now a Mortal Kombat fighter by punching a bunch of buttons. I appreciate that. So if people want to get in touch with you guys, it's 907gamers.com.
Correct.
Local here in Anchorage, is there a place they can go?
No, it's just a gaming community.
Okay, so just online and everybody. Do you ever like have events where y'all meet and do stuff?
We have LAN parties, actually, and they are for free. We actually have a barbecue today at Rush and Jack Park that is free. Oh. So anybody can come.
I'll have to go.
That's
awesome. All right, 907gamers.com. Thank you so much for my first experience. Appreciate it. Take it easy.
At Herbie's Cannabis Seeds, we pride ourselves on bringing you the best quality seeds from the world's most respected cannabis seed producers, all at the lowest online prices. You can find Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. All cannabis seeds are sold as souvenirs and as a means of preserving cannabis genetics. Herbie's Seeds in no way intends to condone, promote, or incite the use of illegal or controlled substances. We strongly urge all prospective customers to check their national laws prior to placing an order. Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. Proud sponsors of the Russ Belville Show and 420 Radio.
I like funky music, baby. I like funky music, yeah.
Hey, this is Big Daddy, and I want you to check out my show, The Funky Roller Ring, right here on 420 Radio, because we love us some funky music. Funky Roller Ring.
I like it like that. Funky music, yeah.
Good day, tokers and tokeheads and non-toking lovers of liberty. It is Saturday, May 16, 2015, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. Thanks for being here, you guys. Great to have you here. Thank you, thank you. My name is Russ Belville, and I am the CEO of 420radio.org, which is 24-hour marijuana legalization talk radio. You can pick it up on your iPhone, you can pick it up on your Android, you can pick it up on your desktop computer or laptop. Whenever you tune in, somebody's going to be talking about marijuana legalization. We have shows that come to you from my home, Portland, Oregon, as well as all across the United States, southern states, northeastern states, midwestern states, and Colorado and California, of course. Plus, we have some international shows, including the UK, Barcelona, Spain, Australia, and so forth. So check that out. 420radio.org is the website. I also have a couple of things for sale today because I have to pay for flights to get across the places. This poster you see up on the screen is 13 quotes from United States presidents about hemp and marijuana, all with the hyperlinks to prove that these are accurate quotes. And then I have another poster which is your civil rights as a marijuana consumer. It's the Bill of Rights, the 10 Amendments to the Constitution, but altered to show how marijuana prohibition affects those rights. The posters are 2 for $5 or one of them for free. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Today's presentation is entitled Marijuana, Government, and Civil Rights. And this is a topic that's consistently evolving here throughout the United States. Our understanding of marijuana and our right to use marijuana as not just whether or not people want to get high or whether or not people need medicine. And those things are fine. But the point is, it really doesn't matter. We have a right in this country to use alcohol. Nobody's going to claim that alcohol isn't dangerous. We have a right to use tobacco. Nobody's going to claim that using tobacco doesn't harm your health. So if we have the right to use things that harm others and harm our health, we certainly should have the right to be able to use cannabis that doesn't harm others and helps our health. And that's kind of the point of this presentation today, is to break out of the mindset that we're talking about a sin or having fun or partying or anything like that, and to erase that mindset and to instead embrace this as the civil rights issue of the 21st century. This is really about our mental sovereignty and our bodily sovereignty. Who has the right to tell us what to do with our own mind and body? So let's think about civil rights just a little bit. When we typically say the word civil rights, people are going to say, oh, black folks, Mexicans, natives, their rights. Or we might think of women's rights, the fight for, a choice in reproductive rights or equal pay for women. Or we might think about the unfolding of gay rights as they're happening in this country, the right to get married and to adopt children and so forth. And in all of those civil rights, I think we underline the fact that we have the right to use marijuana if we want to. For example, think about that whole issue of pregnancy and abortion, regardless of which side you stand on it. But we've kind of established in this country that women have a right to their own bodies. They have a right to do with their uterus what they choose. So why don't I have a right to do with my brain and lungs what I choose? My body, my choice. We think about ethnic background and national origin, whether you're a Native Alaskan, a Mexican American, African American, and so forth. We think of those as civil rights, and we think of this as not discriminating against people based on their physical characteristics or their belief systems or their culture. Well, we cannabis consumers have certain physical characteristics. We like to use cannabis, and we have our own culture. We have our own, systems. So I feel that kind of illustrates the whole civil rights issue of it. And the religious beliefs. We don't discriminate against people for being Catholic or Mormon or Muslim or whatever, or not even having a religion if they don't want to. So we can't discriminate on people based on what they think, how they believe, or how they worship. Doesn't that give some rights to using cannabis? I believe it does. And what I'd like to show you in this presentation is how the prohibition of cannabis throughout this country that we've just beginning to overturn in Alaska, my home state of Oregon, Washington, and Colorado, that prohibition that still exists in 46 other states is one of the few issues that impacts every single one of the Bill of Rights. You can't name another issue that is so devastating to all of our civil rights, and that's what we're going to point out today. So what are our rights? First of all, our opponents think they're banning a harmful plant, which is incorrect. It's not harmful. But I think it has nothing to do with the plant. It has to do with the people that use that plant. We're talking about oppressing people. When the DEA goes and raids people that are growing pot, they don't point the guns at the plants. They point the guns at the people. And think about also our founding fathers. Our founding fathers grew hemp. Jefferson, Madison, they grew hemp. George Washington grew hemp. And they lived in an agrarian economy. Their whole economy was based on farming and markets and selling their crops. So how could those founding farmers think about it not being a right to do that? Right? I mean, that would be absurd to them to think that somebody would ban hemp as somebody banning air. It just seems self-evident to the founding fathers. So self-evident, they didn't bother to write it down. Can you imagine that at the Constitutional Convention? Hey, Ben Franklin, we ought to write down that they have a right to grow hemp. Sure, like anyone would ban hemp. Well, it turned out they did. And marijuana prohibition subverts our natural and constitutional rights more so than any other issue. Let's take a look how. So the First Amendment, we're pretty familiar with the First Amendment, right? It's got 5 major freedoms that are listed in it. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. You have the right to religion. You have the right to believe what you choose. You have the right to use holy sacraments. Unless you're a Rastafarian. Unless you're a Coptic Christian. Unless you're a member of the THC ministry, then you don't get to have your right to religion. You don't get that right. So already, marijuana prohibition is affecting our right to religion, whether or not you believe those religions or not. If we don't stand for one religion, all of them are in danger. Another part of the First Amendment says we shall not abridge the freedom of speech or of the press. You can advertise, you can talk, you can give speeches, you can hand out flyers, unless you want to advertise your legal pot shop. I don't know what the rules are in Alaska or what they're doing with the rules yet in Alaska. I know in Washington State, they have a law, in their law for the pot shops in Washington State, they can have one 1,600 square inch sign in black and white with just their name on it. They can't put up pot leaves, they can't put up green crosses, they can't have billboards, they can't have signs, they can't have commercials. All they can have is one little black and white sign, abridging those companies' freedom of speech. Another part of the First Amendment, we have the right of the people peaceably to assemble. We can gather together in like-minded groups and have meetings, unless you're smoking pot, and then they'll arrest you. Now, if you'd like to gather in the park, certain parks, and drink beer, that's okay. And if you'd like to gather together in certain bars and go out on the patio and smoke cigarettes, that's okay. But if you want to gather and use cannabis, you don't have that right to peaceably assemble. And finally, the First Amendment has the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. If you don't like the laws, if you don't like the government, you can petition the government to change that, except 24 states in the United States do not have the initiative power, like we have in Alaska and Oregon, Washington, and Colorado. There are states back east and down south where the majority of the people want legalization, but it doesn't matter, because they can't do an initiative. They can't do anything about it. So those rights are affected by marijuana prohibition. The Second Amendment. Oh, they love the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed unless you're a registered medical marijuana patient, one of the 23 states that has medical marijuana, because according to the Gun Control Act of 1968, you may not sell guns and ammo to, quote, an unlawful user of or addicted to any controlled substance. That means medical marijuana patients, some of the most frail and people that need the most security and protection in their home, can't keep a gun to guard their growth. Or if they do, they get all sorts of gun laws that get thrown out of gun charges. This has been litigated in my home state of Oregon. The sheriff there tried to deny concealed carry permits to registered medical marijuana patients. One of my friends, Attorney Leland Berger, took that to the United States Supreme Court to actually have, or the Oregon Supreme Court to have that struck down. But in so many states still, guns and pot don't mix. No matter if you have a permit, no matter if you're a veteran, no matter if you're the best marksman in the world, you can't be sold guns or ammo. The Third Amendment. Nobody thinks much of the Third Amendment. We'll take questions after. Nobody thinks much about the Third Amendment. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. First of all, did you realize that if we're at war, which we are, the war on terror, government can actually house soldiers in your home. Congress could pass a law and say, you have to put 3 soldiers up in your place. You have to put 4 soldiers up in your place. You have to put 5 up in your place. If we're at war, Congress can force you to house soldiers. But in times of peace, they can't. Now, marijuana, does it really get into this Third Amendment? Not really, because the Third Amendment's kind of archaic. It doesn't really apply much anymore. But there was a case called Griswold v. Connecticut. This was the case that determined people have the right to birth control. Younger folks might go, what? But for a long time in this country, there were states where you could not buy birth control. It was against the law unless you were married. In this case, Griswold v. Connecticut, they used the Third Amendment to argue that the founders really wanted us to have some privacy in our lives. And that privacy is being destroyed by this war on drugs. The Ninth Circuit, which covers Alaska, Washington, Oregon, California, the Ninth Circuit, there was a case that came out of Oregon, Perez, I think the guy's name was. Cops suspected him of being a grower. So they followed him to some grow shops and they saw that he was making a lot of purchases at the hydroponic shop. And they checked his electrical bill and they found out that he's had a high electrical bill. So the cops went onto this man's property, into his driveway, slapped a GPS device under his bumper to track everywhere he was going, without a warrant, without his knowledge. And of course he sued. He said, wait a minute, don't you need a warrant to come on my property and track my car? And the Ninth Circuit said, nope. Cops don't need a warrant to put a GPS on your car to track you. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather have a soldier in my house than a GPS in my car. The soldier might not tell them very much. The GPS is going to tell them a whole hell of a lot. The Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. This is the one that really gets trashed, thanks to Prohibition. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. You have to have a warrant to take stuff from you. You have to have probable cause to search you. Except they can take your pee. They take your pee for work. They take your pee for school. They take your pee for probation. How much more of a seizure and invasion of my privacy could you get than taking my bodily fluids? Also, a recent case decided that the cops could search a house without a warrant. They can break down your door if there's the smell of pot and there's the sound of furtive movements. This was a case that went down where the cops had a warrant to go to an apartment complex. They went up to the second floor. Their warrant was for that apartment. But while they were there, they smelled some pot in that apartment. The person in that apartment wasn't there, so the cops went and knocked on the other door. Hey, police, what's going on in there? It was quiet, but then they heard some rustling around. So they kicked down the door, found the guy with some weed. And the courts argued that, well, if there's the smell of pot and you can hear some movement back there, they might be trying to destroy evidence. Now, maybe that makes some sense when you're talking about cocaine that you can easily flush down the toilet. But pot plants? How are you going to quickly destroy a pot plant when there's cops at your door? I mean, they're not going to flush very well. So that's another way our rights are being infringed by this prohibition. And of course, you know about the NSA and the DEA sharing information, tracking all our phone calls, tracking who we're calling, when we're calling, what time we called. That's been recently uncovered by Edward Snowden. It's also been found that the DEA was involved in this program where they laundered tips. What would happen is the DEA would get a tip that someone was doing some sort of drug thing. The DEA would call the local cops and say, hey, look out for this semi-truck. We think it's full of drugs. The local cops would make up some excuse to pull over the semi-truck. The DEA would hide all evidence that they ever talked to the local cops. So when the defense attorney tries to defend that truck driver, as far back as he can go is, oh, the cops saw that he forgot to blink or he changed lanes wrong. But they don't have that chain of evidence that says, wait, the DEA gave them a tip to get to that point. And this has caused thousands of cases that could have been defended by criminal defense attorneys to end up in plea bargains or convictions because they couldn't go far enough back in the evidence chain to find out who made the original tip. So the Fourth Amendment's in tatters thanks to these decisions. Another part of the Fourth Amendment says, no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. The particularly part means the cops just can't say, oh, I think Bob's no good, let's check him out. It has to be, we think Bob's no good because we have evidence that he's been growing pot, we have evidence that he's been selling it. There has to be particular reasons and particular things they're looking for. Cops can't get a warrant for your house and say, we're going to go to Bob's house and see what we can find. No, they have to say, we're going to go to Bob's house particularly to look for weed and grow equipment and money. They have to list what they're going after. The problem that's happened under Prohibition is now that probable cause is more like profiling and pretext. Ah, you got long hair. Oh, you got a Grateful Dead sticker on your truck. Oh, you're wearing a normal t-shirt. Oh, you have a lot of piercings and tattoos. Oh, you're driving while black. Right? They'll make up an excuse to pull you over. And then once they're into that mode, they're going to start searching. And another thing that happens is there's mistakes that are made. Katherine Johnston was a 92-year-old African-American woman living in a bad neighborhood in Atlanta. Cops had a warrant to go after a bad guy. Her address was put down by mistake. Wrong address. Oops. They break down the door. Now, poor 92-year-old Katherine Johnston living in the bad neighborhood in Atlanta had a little gun, little pistol. And when the cops burst in, she thought it was a home invasion robbery, so she fired and killed one of the cops. Cops fired back 19, 20 times, killed her, left her dead. And while she was laying there in her own pool of blood, and the cops realized, oh crap, we just saw a 92-year-old woman. One of the cops took a bag of weed, tried to plant it on her, so they'd have an excuse for it. That's the kind of stuff that's going on under Prohibition that's destroying our civil rights. The Fifth Amendment has a lot of parts to it. One part says, no person shall be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. This is the double jeopardy, right? They can't try you twice for the same crime. If they find you innocent, even if they were wrong, you can't be tried again. Except, in drug laws, we have these things called conspiracy charges, which is the idea that you and a bunch of friends were making a plan to commit a crime, and they'll tack that onto the crime itself. So committing the crime is a crime that they'll try you for, and then the conspiracy to commit the crime is a crime they'll try you for. How's that not the same thing? It's having to do with the same action. And they actually had cases like this where but let me get to that a little bit later. The other part of the Fifth Amendment, shall not be compelled in a criminal case to be a witness against himself. That means you can't self-incriminate. They can't force you to tell on yourself. But they can take your blood and urine. Well, if you're charging me with a marijuana thing and then you take my blood to prove that there's marijuana in that, how is that not me testifying against myself? Well, no, that's your blood testifying against you. Yeah, but that's me. My blood is me. That's my DNA. That's me you have testifying against myself. So once again, shredding our civil liberties. Another part of the Fifth says, shall not be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. This is the part that says government can't steal from it. Government can't come in and say, hey, I like your house, I'm taking your house. Now, they do have this thing called eminent domain where they can argue they need your house, but then they have to give you fair market value for it. They have to help you out with that. But in the case of marijuana, they have this thing called civil asset forfeiture. Civil asset forfeiture is a situation where the cops have a hunch that your stuff, that you got your stuff through crime. And your stuff is guilty until proven innocent. That is, they can pull you over, smell pot in your car, say, all right, out of the car, we're taking the car. We're taking the cash that's in the car. We're going to go and take you home because we believe you got all that stuff by selling weed. And you say, well, I don't sell weed. Tough, you have to prove that you didn't get that stuff by selling weed. And it doesn't even matter if they charge you with a crime or not. They don't even have to charge you personally with anything. In fact, you can go to court, be found innocent of growing marijuana, and they can still civilly forfeit your stuff. They can still take your stuff, even though you've been found innocent. And you gotta find the money and time and lawyer to go get the stuff back. Of course, you gotta go find that lawyer after they've taken your cash. So how do you find a lawyer? And in fact, the cops are really good at this. They used to go after guys that had like $1 million houses and, you know, $50,000 cars, but then they realized, oh, those guys can afford attorneys. So now they go after amounts from $5,000 to $10,000. Because they know 5 to 10 grand is enough that it's worth taking, but it would cost you more than 10 grand to get it back. So they steal what they can, knowing that the system's on their side to keep it. Pretty frustrating. Now this civil asset forfeiture, the state of New Mexico has become the first state to ban it. They finally passed a law in New Mexico, no more civil asset forfeiture. And this doesn't have to do with criminal asset forfeiture. That's a different thing. If they convict you of a crime and then they take your stuff, no, I can understand that. That makes a little more sense. But this civil stuff where you could be innocent and you got to prove your property not guilty, that's got to go. The Sixth Amendment. Now we get into some of these amendments people might not know so much about. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. Anybody heard of Roger Christie? Roger Christie runs the THC ministry out of Hawaii. He runs basically a pot church. Cops busted him there, put him in jail. It took 3 years, 4 months before he went to trial. He sat in prison for 3 years and 4 months before going to trial. That's not speedy in public. That's not very speedy, if you ask me. You are to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation and confronted with the witnesses against it. This is the no secret courts. They can't charge you with secrets. They have to bring your accuser before you. Well, what if it's a drug dog that sniffed weed in my car? How do I confront that drug dog? Your Honor, I'd like to treat the witness as hostile. Right? Unless you speak dog, how are you supposed to confront that witness? We also have a compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor and to have the assistance of counsel for your defense. This is the, you get a public defender, you have the right to an attorney. If you do not have one will be appointed to you. We all have CSI, right? Only problem is your attorney can't say medical marijuana. If you're in a federal court, your attorney cannot put the word medical and marijuana next to each other, or he'll be charged with contempt, and the trial will be a mistrial, and we'll start over. Even if you're a lawful medical marijuana patient, you cannot on the stand tell people why you're sick. If you're a multiple sclerosis patient charged with growing pot by the federal court, you can't say that you have multiple sclerosis. You can't say that you use cannabis as medicine. You can't even say your state has a medical marijuana law that you're following. So yeah, you get defense, but it's like playing defense with 6 guys on the football field. You don't have all your defenders. 7th Amendment. This is the Civil Trials Amendment. This is the one that says, in suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved. If someone wrongs you, you can sue them. Except your weed dealer. How do you take your weed dealer to court? That's illegal. You can't sue your weed dealer. That's why weed dealers sometimes use guns, because they can't go to court. We don't have this right in our marijuana commerce to be able to take things to trial. And no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in the court of the United States. That's another kind of double jeopardy thing. We can't take it to court twice. Except, there was this case in California where one of these prosecutors really hated medical marijuana, a particular medical marijuana dispensary. I think it was in La Jolla? I can't remember where exactly. Morro Bay, I think. So this prosecutor, she hated medical marijuana. She did a sting. She took a cop, got this cop a fake ID, although it was a real California ID, it just wasn't really that cop's ID. But if you looked at it, you wouldn't know it was a fake ID. It's a real California ID with a false person. So the cop, with the false ID, goes to a doctor, gets a medical marijuana recommendation. Doctor can't know that this guy's a fake. It's a real ID. Cop gets the recommendation from the medical marijuana doctor, goes to the medical marijuana clinic, or dispensary, gets the weed, makes some buys, and then that's when the federal prosecutor said, aha, controlled substance sale, we're taking you to court. And so this went to a jury, and when the jury found out that, wait a minute, this cop was a liar, the ID was real, like how could you blame this guy? He was following the law. The jury dismissed it. The jury acquitted that dispensary owner. So the prosecutor got another cop, got another ID, did another state, took it to a different district where they get a different jury and convicted the guy. Now, how is that not trying for the same fact? Because it wasn't the same fact, different cop. Wow, huh? All right. Let's go on. 8th Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required. I have a personal story on this. I'm a criminal in the state of Utah. Last year I road tripped to the Cannabis Cup. My assistant had some weed, and he hid one of the vapor pens in my bag, in my laptop bag. So I got charged with possession of paraphernalia and possession of, like, residue, like the residue inside of a vapor pen, like it was empty. For that, it cost me $5,000 in bail and another $2,000 in attorney's fees for an amount of marijuana you couldn't even smoke. There wasn't enough in there to even puff. So I don't know, this excessive bail thing, I'm complaining because $5 grand's a lot of money to me. Now let's talk to some of these medical marijuana dispensary owners who get $500,000 bails. More bail required for a medical marijuana dispensary owner than a murderer or a child rapist. Insane. Nor excessive fines. The federal fine for growing one marijuana plant is $250,000. One. Seedling. Feds find you with a seedling. $250,000. Sound excessive to you?
We're going to bring the funk to tonight's ending. In the land of the midnight sun, it ain't going down no time soon. So let's play. Oh yeah. Straight funk together. Straight funk vibe. I'm trying to sign. I'm using my game dead that hurt mine. I do the sign like one more time. She threw up that sign to say. trying to get to the motherfucking clip, and I'm kinda lit. The homie told me to take a shortcut across the street. He told me to take motherfucker. Living a hot life on this mic. My pistol is still and you know I hold it tight. My name is Mike, for the folks that don't know me. I keep it real, the number one homie. See, motherfuckers, she came down to the show. She popped me on that front row. She touched me till I could not speak. I guess she wanted to hate motherfucker dick. Put the cotton mouth and try to take me for what I speak. I'm trying to get these bros dead. Motherfucker, living a high life on the real. Police can't catch me without that skill when they see me all up in them streets. Yo, come ain't got that.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it,